Hi, this is Wishop, and on this rainy spring day, I felt like doing an impromptu general reading. I was also inspired because I recently started doing a spread by Alexander Musruck. He does it, it's a signature spread of his. He does as 2 rows of 7 cards. I will post a link to that video. Also, I did a methodology video for those other card geeks and cartomancers who are interested on how I would do it as a 5 by 5, because this particular spread that he developed has a lot of dimensions to it, which I really like. It gives you the opportunity to read the cards in many ways, and in doing that, I think you get a really rich picture. So I want to make sure that for people who care about the whys and wherefores, they have that. And for people who just want a general reading, it's here. So let's get started. In this particular spread, which I'm doing as a 3 by 3, you will use a significator if you like. So you would choose your significator and then see when you deal the cards if it comes up. So in this case, because I didn't want to use the main man or the main woman, I wanted something more all-encompassing. I chose, before I shuffled, the Oracle card, which is a bonus card in this deck. But the crystal ball, the crystal seer, who sees your life from the cradle to the grave, that seemed like a good card to represent all of us because we're coming to the Oracle to get a reading. So in this case, we start by reading the top line as an independent statement. So here we are, and we're sort of facing the future. This is us. Where are we going? We have a situation which is probably at the heart of the matter, and it is a commitment. It's a commitment to something we love. So it could be a partnership, it could be a person, it could be a pet, it could be property. It's a Venus-ruled card, 25, the ring. So it's going to tend to involve things that you can touch and feel, people you can talk to. And what we have further in the back is a tree, which is a long-standing situation. It can also be a family situation, which is sort of how I'm reading it here. Anything with long roots, but I also think of this as a Virgo-related card, so this is an earthly kind of energy that can have to do with our daily work, our daily habits, our daily routines. And this looks like maybe we're considering some other commitment, or we're considering a commitment that we've made of very long standing. And it's a commitment that could have to do with our lives, our health, our property, our partnerships, so business or love, this kind of thing. And either these may be the same thing or these may be two options. This would be the legacy option that we already have. This could be this new one. And we're looking forward, but we're the last card here, so we haven't quite decided. What are we doing about this? And we're looking for answers. So now we read the second line. Here's the umbrella. This is another Alexander bonus card in this deck, and I really like it. The umbrella is a card of safety, but also a card of keeping something hidden. So we have the garden here, which is a card of public works. So it can be anything you do in small groups or things that are in the public eye. And then man, because again, I don't want to use it for a specific person in a very general reading, I'm going to use for that Martian energy of action, of taking action. So here I'm using it as we feel kind of a call to take action. So there's action that might have to do again with these alternatives, like do we keep hidden something? Do we keep safe when we're dealing in the public sphere? So because it's so interrelated to the top line, the next thing you do when you're doing this kind of reading is you take the bottom card and you put it in the top house, and then you read them that way. So what it is here is we as the Oracle are feeling a call to action. And the question is, are we safe to express our new commitment. It could be a commitment to love. It could be a professional commitment. It could be some new regime that you're starting, but it's something tangible. It's something very real, and it's something very close to you. And the question is it safer to keep it hidden? Because here we have the garden. So this could be a long-standing association. This could be because I can think of the garden as having professional or public relations or associations. This can be the thing that you've always been known for publicly. For a long time, you've been known for this publicly, and you've sort of hidden your attachment to this other thing, to this other person, to this other kind of endeavor. But now you're feeling called to take action. Another way I'm looking at this is because garden is public and can be groups, group associations. Trees are things that move slowly, of long standing. Maybe you were part of a group association and it moved forward in a slow consensus fashion to execute its aims. And in the meantime, you sort of hid, perhaps, some of your feelings about the way this operated. But now you feel like you're being called, instead of to work in this group or maybe longer term consensus way, to take individual action on something, to step out individually. So another thing you can do with this reading, and I encourage you to look at the background videos if you want to know more about the style of reading, is you can ask for a clarification card. So I put the clarification cards in the same house as the lower cards go into. So now we've got clover here. We've got scythe on top of umbrella and ring. And we've got the whip or the rods, depending on what kind of deck you have, over garden and tree. So here, looking forward, we can't see where everything's going to go, but it looks good. And I think of clover as a Jupiterian card, so very expansive, sort of tied to ideas like this little guy with the four-leaf clover always looks to me like a leprechaun or a fairy. And so I think of this clover as that little bit of sparkle, and it can even be things that are related to the spiritual realm. So it may be that what you're feeling you need to take action on with Oracle here, just which I chose, by happenstance or perhaps not, and Clover with man of action, is you're being encouraged to take action or feeling a call to take action towards some spiritual or magical or divinatory or some other type of pursuit in that direction, and it's rather different than what you've done before. And maybe people didn't know that. Maybe people didn't even know that you like this stuff. And now we have the scythe here. The scythe with the umbrella in the House of the Ring is like, you have to stop. Well, you don't have to do anything. But this is saying there may be a sudden end to your anonymity where your attachments are concerned. Somehow the things you love, and it could be the people you love, it could be something near and dear to your heart, is probably not going to stay hidden for long with the scythe. So things are going to come to a head. So you may have to ask yourself, well, do I want to be the person who brings this out into the open? Or do I just want to be prepared for it to happen on its own? But it looks like something sudden could happen that lets the cat out of the bag, so to speak, in whatever area this very heartfelt commitment to something tangible and deep and potentially long-term is for you. You're being asked, well, you may not be allowed, maybe not allowed is not the word I want, but you may not be able to play it safe and close to the vest like you did before, and you may need to be ready to branch out. Here we've got the whip, which can also be a Martian card. It can be a card of strife, of repetitive actions. Because this is paired with the garden in the house of the tree, I would say, yeah, some of these previous associations you may have, or maybe if you see this as a family group, they're not going to be totally psyched about what they hear, and you may get an earful about it. But because this is also repetitive action, it still looks like you will need to be the one to set boundaries, to not allow, if there's a repetitive action that is punishing to you or that feels unsupportive of you, you may have to cut that, cut that short and set that boundary. One way I sometimes think of this sort of tree garden thing is, you might have been an apple tree in an apple orchard, but now you're a palm tree and you need a tropical garden because that habitat and environment is going to be better for you. So if you find that you're a tree that might not be in a garden that really suits you anymore, rather than punish yourself through repetitive cycles of putting yourself through something that doesn't fit anymore, you may feel the urge or find the opportunity to cut that short. And it doesn't imply to me that it's necessarily easy or hard, but all I can say is the clover is the one facing forward. And this scythe and this whip, this is all the past. So I would say the clover tends to sweeten everything it touches. So it could be that as you think about your future, taking action in this area of your deepest heart's wishes, that sweetens up the difficulty of having to maybe make some cuts and some boundaries, or change your associations, or be very clear, be very crisp, be very surgical in the kinds of, for example, if this were conversations, difficult, argumentative conversations, like be very clear about the kinds of things that you will be present to listen to. But scythe is a card of Saturn, and it's a card of timing. So it tends to mean like, ooh, the time is coming nigh, where you may end up having to make a decision, or a situation may come unexpectedly that kind of makes that decision for you. So either way, as you're going through whatever huge transformations you're going through, and I know so many people, and I'm feeling it myself, the need to step out in truth about what these transformations mean for your life, and mean for the commitments of your life, and mean for the things that you hold dear. Well, it might happen, and you might have to come through to some people who have been longtime allies or parts of your daily life and daily routine, and you might even have to brave the slings and arrows, because that'll be the way to take the best opportunity going forward. And we don't really see in this reading yet what's going forward, but I have a lot of confidence in you, and I have a lot of confidence in me too. And I think if you try to keep solid in your integrity, and try to keep your mind on what you love, on the things you love, don't focus on the people who might not understand, or who aren't a good fit, or who tell you that you're throwing away something of very long standing. Like, but I don't want it anymore. Like if you tell the palm tree it's throwing away, the landscape that no longer fits it, well, there's not as much to lose. So try not to worry more about what you're losing than about what you're gaining. Keep your eyes forward, because it looks really exciting. And the action and the luck and the fun are all biased towards the future. So I think that's the direction to keep facing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this impromptu reading. Please check out the other methodology videos, or Alexander Musrick's video if you like this. Thank you very much also for your likes and your comments. Thank you for your time to visit and to view these videos. And as always, rock on with your bad selves.